Gizmo China. Every other news source out there. It's never going to get... This is never going to get fixed, by the way. This is forever going to be the most annoying issue ever. Nubia, I think that's what the name is, launches the first foldable phone of 2025. No, they did not. That right there is clickbait. Shout out to clickbait. Because they released the first flippable phone. I forever say this in videos. This is not a foldable phone. This is a flippable phone. A foldable phone and a flippable phone are not the same. I still don't know why we have news publications like Gizmo China, who isn't like a nonsense thing. They actually do good work. People cannot just get the name correct. Not only is it not a foldable phone, the name of the phone is the Nubia Flip 2. How do you write an article with a foldable phone? Anyway, so this is the Nubia Flip 2. And it's the first flip of the year. Now, I did see someone comment down below and say, like, hey, we got to stop with this whole, supporting any company, like Chinese companies when it comes to these flippable phones. And I get it, I do. But at the end of the day, we're not going to buy them, let's be honest. If you live in the States or you live outside China, you're probably not buying these flippable phones. But what they do is they push the industry forward. It gives more resources for other companies that we do support to work with. Like, for example, Samsung, Apple, Google, Motorola, etc., right? It gives a lot more resources for those companies to work with when we do this stuff. So I know a lot of people like, these Chinese phones, I don't really care about, but this is what pushes the industry forward. The only way we're going to get to a point where this industry is, better and better and better and better for the consumer overall wise is if there's more resources out there for these companies to work with. And that's exactly what we're getting here. So this is what it looks like. There's 3 different iterations when it comes to colors. You got black, you got white, and then you got this kind of baby blue. And you do have, I think it's the fingerprint reader. So you have a dual camera setup. You have a little mini screen, which we see this a lot out of Chinese phones where they have like the little mini screen on the outside. Instead of going like with what Samsung has and Motorola has, where they have like a 1:1 ratio right here at the very top. We have this setup of it being, I guess not 3, but 2 cameras on the left-hand side. And then again, I think this left one is a fingerprint reader. I want to say it's a fingerprint reader. It does have an this phone boosts an IPX2 water resistance and IP4X dust resistance. I don't know why they just don't say IP42. IP42 would just be what that is. 6 gigabytes of RAM. Okay. It's priced at roughly $400, $406 in Japan. So this actually isn't from China. This is from Japan. For the sole 6 gigabytes, 128 gigabyte, 6 gigabytes of RAM, 128 gigabyte variant. It's available in black, white, and blue shades. So kind of that baby blue color. 6.9 inch OLED panel with 120 hertz refresh rate, full HD resolution. A top 32 megapixel front-facing camera for selfies and video calls with a Flip 2. Okay, so that's a Flip. So that's a Flip 1 has that. The Flip 2 has a dual system on the rear, right here. The main sensor is a 50 megapixel camera, and there is a 2 megapixel depth sensor for adding the bit of background blur to your portrait photos. So this right here is actually a sensor. Okay, so this is not a fingerprint reader. So that's why I was like, when I first saw this, that's the first thing I'm thinking about is fingerprint reader. It's a sensor. So it gives you that kind of depth and blur to your photos. So this is a sensor. So we have 2 cameras and a sensor right here. Okay. I mean, that's kind of cool, actually. That's actually not that bad. So a little sensor thing. That's something. See, that's what I'm talking about. So this is not a Chinese company. This is from Japan. But this is a Japanese company. But still, this is stuff that pushes the industry forward, and maybe this will eventually come to other flippable phones as well that we might buy, where it's like, okay, you have this sensor that can, you know, make it blurry, make it not blurry, stuff like that. I think some phones nowadays have that built in the camera and the sensor, but still, cool concept. Tell me down below your thoughts, opinions. See you guys next one.